Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our admin who received this message, and the message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? This is my own story that I want to share with you. I have shared it with other people as well, even though it seems more like a conspiracy theory. I don't know if you do post stories like that, but it is a nice thing for other people to hear the so-called conspiracy theories, because most of the things that are said when it comes to conspiracy theories, like the way that they say anyone who believes in conspiracy theories, that person is crazy. It is not true at all. It is for real. It is just that it is something that is suppressed. So I am a man who designs album covers for different pop stars, some that you can even immediately recognize. And there is something dark that I want to tell you, something dark that they do not want you to know. I am a man who was born in Nigeria, but we left Nigeria when we were still very young, such that I have no memory as such about the country of my parents. And I have worked on album covers for some of the biggest names in music, but what I have witnessed behind closed doors, it changed me forever. So much that I started to believe and to see that indeed the spirit world, it is for real, and it is so close to us, such that we are standing right next to the door. Each and every one of us, there is a door in which you will be standing close to each and every time, and once you open that door, you find yourself in another dimension, a spiritual world. For I was made to believe that there are 8 dimensions, and in this dimension that we live in, it is only one dimension. Some they say that it is a 2D dimension, and then there are other dimensions that we cannot perceive, that we cannot see with our eyes. Neither can we even think of it, because we are not used to a world where there are 8 dimensions, where you can see different things at all the times. I have witnessed satanic things behind closed doors of popular music studios, where hit songs have been cooked and produced. And this is not just a conspiracy theory, but it is something that I witnessed with these 2 eyes of mine. And it is very hard for you to just tell people that this is what you saw. The first time that I saw these rituals, I'll never forget the night I realized that something was deeply wrong. It was in the year 2012, and I had just landed a dream gig designing artwork for a Grammy-winning pop star. I thought that finally it was it, this was it. Then they came, their first recording session. It was kind of like weird, because I had never done that before, to design an album cover for the artist, and they would force me to be there throughout the recording of all of the songs. But they said that they had this idea of wanting us, the company that will be working on the album cover, to feel the music, to see, so that we can imagine. And by the time that we will be designing the album cover, then we can have a clear vision of everything that the artist wanted. When we got into the studio, things were not the way that I thought were supposed to be. It was unprofessional. There were a lot of things, drugs that were being taken. I had arrived at the studio earlier on, and whilst I was waiting there was this other producer who came, and this producer came and gave me a t-shirt. The t-shirt that was given to me, it was written 666. I did not like it at all, but anyway, I just took it. And when the artist came, that was when we were told that there was a ritual that was supposed to be performed, and all of us, we joined hands, and then we were told that this was a covenant that we were going to create, and all of us, we were made to drink blood. I don't know if it was real human blood or what it was, but it was blood that was passed around, and we were told that this was going to invite. I did not even know that some of these musicians, the songs that they sing, it's not like they just sit down with a pen and paper, but rather they go into those dimensions and then they look for inspiration, and after they would have gotten the inspiration, that is when they will start to sing the music. And when they sing this music, they honestly believe that they will be talking to the spiritual beings that they would have met. There were a lot of mushrooms that were being taken, what they call magic mushroom. That whole album, it was written whilst they were taking magic mushrooms. And then that was when I realized that, so this industry, it is not about music, but it is about blood and about sacrifices. There are a lot of ceremonies that were being held, and there was even one backup young singer who was brought. She was only 19. This woman, she was brought into the recording studio and she was blindfolded, as if she was a lamb that was taken to a sacrifice. Later on, there was a man who was dressed up as a Jewish priest. He was brought into the recording studio, and an altar was set up just before the musician had started singing. That girl was brought from the recording booth and she was made to sleep on top of that altar. They stripped her naked, and then that priest got on top of her and started sleeping with her right there, whilst the musician was busy singing in the recording booth. When the musician was done taking his takes, and then that was when that girl was brought into that recording booth and she played her part. Soon after that, that same priest slept with her again, and then they started worshiping, including the musician was worshiping and thanking the spiritual being that the musician had met after the musician had taken the magic mushrooms. But the man never slept with that woman, nor at all. She did not do that. There were a lot of things that I could not even understand. So that album art that we had to do, there were a lot of things that we had to hide in the graphics. They made it specific that we were supposed to get an inverted cross into that album art, such that it is quite difficult for anyone to notice that this is what is happening. There were a lot of symbolism in that album art, as well as in an Illuminati pyramid, but this is what I saw after the music videos had been released everywhere. There were pyramids as well as serpents that we included in the album art. When I started to hear this music as it was played on radio, even the way that people would react, people around me, I saw people as if they were getting into a trance. And I was even told that this album that was recorded, it was recorded in such a way that it was a praise and worship for the demons, but they do not call them your demons as such, but they call them spiritual beings that they see on the other side. I have other videos that I have witnessed the same things. If you want, you can go and check them. There are videos like Beyonce's Lemonade, Lady Gaga's 911 lyrics that sound as if people are calling spiritual beings from other realms. Kanye's Jesus, Billie Eilish's All the Good Girls Go to Hell. If you listen to the music properly, you will start to witness that this is not about music, but it is about praise and worship for the demons. There are album covers that I worked on where we specifically placed Baphomet's imagery, and when I could not take it anymore, guess what happened? I was blacklisted. Now I am living my life with my wife, but there are things that one cannot talk about for fear of being crucified. For I know that during some of the parties that we used to go to, there were things that were done, sometimes things that were done when we were high on drugs. So I am even scared whenever the talk of these parties like your Didi's parties, as well as what they did with R. Kelly, you would find out that there are other videos that they keep for people whom they want to crucify or to sacrifice later on in life. That is why sometimes I prefer to keep my silence. I could have started my own channel on YouTube, but I am scared because I do not know what kind of file they might have on me. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was forwarded to me by one of our admin. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Let us try to talk about this issue in the comment section.